in the vast steppes of 13th century Central Asia, where the winds carried the dust of endless conquests, a woman rose to power in a realm dominated by men. Töregene Khatun, born into the nomadic tribes that defined the Mongol world, was no ordinary woman. She was destined to become one of the most powerful figures in the Mongol Empire, a queen whose influence would stretch across thousands of miles and reshape the future of one of history's greatest empires. Her story began far from the battlefield, in the intricate web of alliances and marriages that held the Mongol court together. Töregene married Ögedei Khan, the third son of Genghis Khan, at a time when the Mongol Empire was still finding its shape. While her husband fought wars of expansion, Töregene mastered the delicate art of politics. She was not merely a consort. She was a strategist, a mediator, and a woman of unyielding ambition. When Ogedei ascended to the throne as the Great Khan, Töregene stood by his side, her influence growing as the empire expanded to unprecedented heights. But her true test came after his sudden death in 1241. In the wake of his passing, the empire stood at a crossroads, its unity threatened by rival factions and power-hungry nobles. It was in this moment of crisis that Töregene Khatun stepped forward, not as a grieving widow, but as a leader determined to preserve the legacy of her husband and secure the future for her son. In a world where women were often relegated to the shadows, Töregene defied expectations. She wielded power with a deft hand, navigating the treacherous waters of Mongol politics with a skill few could match. Her regency marked a pivotal chapter in the history of the Mongol Empire, a period of intrigue, ambition, and resilience. This is the story of Töregene Khatun, a queen who carved her name into the annals of history, proving that leadership knows no gender. Through her life, we uncover not only the struggles and triumphs of an extraordinary woman, but also the complex tapestry of an empire that reshaped the medieval world. Töregene Khatun's journey into the corridors of power began long before she ever entered the Mongol court. Born into the Naiman tribe, Töregene was raised in a culture that valued strength and resourcefulness. The Naimans were one of the many tribes that had once resisted Genghis Khan's rise, and though they were eventually subdued, their traditions of resilience and independence left a mark on Töregene's character. Her early life remains shrouded in mystery, but it is clear that her upbringing equipped her with the skills needed to navigate the treacherous world of Mongol politics. Her marriage to Ögedei Khan was not a matter of choice but a calculated alliance, a common practice in the Mongol Empire. Töregene was not Ögedei's first wife, nor would she be his last, as polygamy was customary among Mongol elites. However, Töregene quickly distinguished herself from the other wives. She was sharp, ambitious, and possessed a keen understanding of politics. These traits would later make her an indispensable partner to Ogedei as he prepared to ascend to the throne of the Mongol Empire. When Genghis Khan passed away in 1227, the Mongol Empire was at a pivotal moment. Though Genghis had laid the foundation of a vast empire, its continued success depended on the unity of his heirs. Ogedei, Genghis Khan's third son, was named his successor, a decision that did not sit well with all members of the family. The process of securing Ogedei's position as the Great Khan required not only military strength but also political acumen. It was during this critical period that Töregene's influence began to grow. Töregene played a significant role in helping Ogedei consolidate his power. While Ogedei focused on military campaigns and expanding the empire, Töregene worked behind the scenes, forging alliances and managing the intricate dynamics of the court. She had an uncanny ability to read people and understand their motivations, a skill that allowed her to navigate the often fractious relationships between the Mongol nobility. Her efforts ensured that Ogedei's position as Great Khan was secure, even in the face of internal dissent. Under Ogedei's rule, the Mongol Empire entered a golden age of expansion. Cities fell before the Mongol armies, and new territories were brought under the empire's control. Töregene's role during this time was multifaceted. As Ogedei's most trusted advisor, She helped shape the policies that governed the empire. She was instrumental in managing the empire's vast resources, ensuring that the military campaigns were well-funded and that the empire's territories were efficiently administered. But Toregene's contributions were not limited to matters of state. She also played a crucial role in the personal life of Ogedei, serving as a stabilizing force in a man known for his vices. Ogedei was infamous for his love of alcohol, a habit that often left him incapacitated. Toregene, recognizing the threat this posed to his leadership, worked tirelessly to mitigate its impact. She surrounded him with advisors who could step in when he was unable to govern and ensured that the machinery of the empire continued to function smoothly. Her influence extended to her family as well. Toregene was a devoted mother, and she worked to secure the futures of her children within the empire's power structure. Her eldest son, Guyuk, was particularly important to her ambitions. From an early age, Toregene groomed him for leadership, instilling in him the values and skills he would need to succeed his father. This focus on her children's future would later become a driving force in Toregene's life, shaping many of the decisions she made during her regency. Toregene's position as Ogedei's wife also brought her into contact with the broader Mongol world. She traveled extensively, accompanying Ogedei on his campaigns and witnessing firsthand the vastness of the empire. These experiences deepened her understanding of the challenges facing the Mongol rulers and the complexities of governing such a diverse realm. They also reinforced her belief in the importance of strong, centralized leadership, a principle that would guide her actions when she assumed power. The early years of Toregene's life in the Mongol court were marked by a delicate balancing act. She had to navigate the competing interests of the empire's many factions, maintain her position as Ogedei's most trusted partner, and prepare her children for the future. It was a challenging task, but Toregene rose to the occasion, proving herself to be a formidable figure in a world dominated by men. As Ogedei's reign progressed, Toregene's influence continued to grow. She became a key figure in the Mongol court, respected for her intelligence and admired for her ability to handle complex situations. Her reputation extended beyond the Mongol Empire, as envoys and diplomats from other nations recognized her as a force to be reckoned with. Toregene was not content to remain in the shadow of her husband. She was determined to leave her mark on history. This determination would come to the forefront after Ogedei's death. But even in these early years, it was clear that Toregene was no ordinary woman. She was a leader in her own right, a visionary who understood the importance of strong governance and the need for stability in a rapidly expanding empire. Her efforts laid the groundwork for her later achievements, setting the stage for a remarkable journey that would see her rise to the pinnacle of power in the Mongol Empire. Töregene Khatun's story is one of resilience, ambition, and unparalleled political acumen. From her humble beginnings in the Naiman tribe to her role as the wife of the great Khan, she demonstrated an extraordinary ability to adapt and thrive in a world of constant change. Her early years in the Mongol court were just the beginning of a journey that would see her defy expectations and redefine what it meant to be a woman in power. The rise of Ögedei Khan to the position of Great Khan marked a new chapter in the history of the Mongol Empire. Under his leadership, the empire expanded at an unprecedented rate, reaching into regions that had previously seemed untouchable. From the frozen steppes of Russia to the bustling cities of the Middle East, the Mongols carved a path of conquest, creating an empire that would go down in history as one of the largest in human civilization. At the heart of this period of growth and glory stood Töregene Khatun, whose influence behind the scenes was as formidable as her husband's on the battlefield. The early years of Ogedei's rule were characterized by a flurry of activity. As the second Great Khan, he inherited not only the throne but also the immense expectations of fulfilling Genghis Khan's vision of a unified and powerful Mongol Empire. Toregene understood the weight of this responsibility, and her role as Ogedei's confidant and strategist became increasingly critical. While Ogedei led armies and commanded the loyalty of his generals, Toregene ensured that the political and economic machinery of the empire functioned without interruption. One of the most significant achievements of Ogedei's reign was the conquest of the Jin dynasty in northern China, a campaign that had begun during Genghis Khan's time but was completed under Ogedei's leadership. Toregene's involvement in this campaign was not on the battlefield but in the support systems that made victory possible. She oversaw the logistical efforts needed to sustain such an extensive campaign, ensuring that troops were well-fed, supplied, and organized. Her understanding of the empire's resources and her ability to mobilize them efficiently made her an invaluable asset. Beyond the military campaigns, Toregene also played a pivotal role in shaping the internal governance of the empire. Ogedei's reign is often remembered as a time of relative stability and prosperity, thanks in no small part to Toregene's contributions. She worked closely with Ogedei to implement policies that strengthened the empire's infrastructure and economy. Under their leadership, the Mongols established a more formalized administrative system, which included the creation of postal routes, known as the yam, to facilitate communication across vast distances. These routes not only helped the empire's rulers stay informed but also enabled trade and cultural exchange on an unprecedented scale. Toregene's influence extended into the court itself, where she became a central figure in managing the delicate balance of power among the Mongol aristocracy. The empire was vast and diverse, comprising numerous tribes, cultures, and religions, each with its own interests and ambitions. Toregene's ability to mediate disputes and build alliances was crucial in maintaining unity. She understood the importance of consensus in the Mongol court, where decisions were often made collectively through assemblies known as Kurultais. Her skills as a diplomat and negotiator ensured that these gatherings were productive and that Ogedei's authority remained unchallenged. However, the Mongol court was not without its challenges. As the empire grew, so too did the complexity of its governance. Corruption, power struggles, and competing interests threatened to destabilize the regime. Toregene, with her keen insight into human behavior, worked tirelessly to counter these threats. She identified loyal allies and placed them in key positions, creating a network of supporters who could help her and Ogedei navigate the turbulent waters of empire building. Her ability to inspire loyalty and trust among her peers was a testament to her leadership and charisma. Toregene's influence was also felt in the cultural and intellectual life of the Mongol Empire. She recognized the value of knowledge and the importance of incorporating the expertise of those they conquered. Under Ogedei's rule, scholars, artisans, and administrators from across the empire were brought to the Mongol court. Toregene encouraged this exchange of ideas, fostering an environment where innovation and learning could thrive. This openness to different cultures and traditions became a hallmark of the Mongol Empire, contributing to its enduring legacy. On a personal level, Toregene's relationship with Ogedei was a complex partnership. While their marriage was initially a political alliance, it evolved into a deep bond based on mutual respect and shared ambition. Toregene was one of the few people who could speak candidly with Ogedei, offering him advice and criticism when needed. Her ability to challenge him without undermining his authority made her an indispensable partner in both his personal and professional life. Despite their successes, there were also moments of tension and difficulty. Ogedei's penchant for heavy drinking was a constant source of concern for Toregene. She feared that his excesses could undermine his health and, by extension, the stability of the empire. Toregene often intervened to mitigate the impact of his behavior, whether by delegating responsibilities to trusted advisors or by personally stepping in to manage crises. Her unwavering commitment to Ogedei and the empire underscored her dedication to their shared vision of greatness. As the years passed, Toregene's influence continued to grow, but so too did the challenges they faced. The Mongol Empire was a vast and complex entity, and the task of governing it required constant vigilance. Toregene's role as a stabilizing force became increasingly important as Ogedei's health began to decline. She understood that the future of the empire depended on careful planning and preparation. and she began laying the groundwork for her next great challenge, securing the succession. Toregene's efforts during the golden years of Ogedei's rule were instrumental in shaping the Mongol Empire into a formidable power. Her contributions went beyond the traditional roles assigned to women of her time, demonstrating her exceptional capabilities as a leader and strategist. She was a woman who understood the weight of responsibility and the complexities of power, and she embraced these challenges with determination and grace. As the empire reached its zenith under Ogedei's leadership, Toregene's role as his partner and advisor became increasingly evident. She was not content to stand in the shadows. She was a driving force behind the successes of his reign. Her story during this period is a testament to her intelligence, resilience, and unwavering commitment to the vision of a unified and prosperous Mongol Empire. These years laid the foundation for the next chapter of her life, one that would see her rise to the pinnacle of power in her own right. In 1241, the Mongol Empire stood at the height of its power. Ögedei Khan, through his strategic vision and military might, had continued to expand the legacy of his father, Genghis Khan. But behind the veil of victory lay a shadow that would soon fall over the empire. Ogedei's relentless indulgence in alcohol had taken a toll on his health, and his sudden death that year sent shockwaves through the Mongol world. The empire, a sprawling colossus stretching from the steppes of Mongolia to the edges of Europe, was left leaderless. It was in this moment of uncertainty and potential chaos that Töregene Khatun stepped into the void. The death of a great Khan was always a precarious time for the Mongol Empire. According to tradition, a Kurultai, a grand assembly of Mongol nobles, was required to elect the next leader. This process, though intended to ensure unity and continuity, often exposed fractures within the ruling family. Rivalries among Genghis Khan's descendants threatened to unravel the fragile cohesion that held the empire together. In this volatile atmosphere, Toregene's decisive actions would not only stabilize the empire but also redefine her legacy. Toregene's rise to power was not merely a matter of filling a void. It was a calculated and deliberate assertion of her authority. As Ogedei's primary wife and a respected figure in the court, she was uniquely positioned to assume a role that no Mongol woman before her had dared to claim: regent of the empire. Her position as the mother of Guyuk, Ogedei's eldest surviving son and the presumed heir, further solidified her claim to power. But Toregene knew that her path would not be uncontested. She would have to navigate a labyrinth of political intrigue, familial rivalry, and cultural expectations to secure her place at the helm of the empire. The first challenge Toregene faced was the opposition from within her own family. Ogedei's other wives and their children, as well as members of the broader Borjigin clan, all had stakes in the succession. Many viewed Toregene's ascension with suspicion, seeing her as a temporary placeholder rather than a legitimate ruler. Toregene, however, was undeterred. Drawing on her years of experience in court politics, she began to consolidate her power by building alliances with key figures in the Mongol aristocracy. Toregene's ability to forge alliances was one of her greatest strengths. She understood that the Mongol Empire was not a monolithic entity but a coalition of tribes, each with its own interests and ambitions. To secure their loyalty, she employed a combination of diplomacy, patronage, and strategic marriages. She placed her allies in influential positions, ensuring that the mechanisms of the empire remained under her control. At the same time, she worked to neutralize potential threats, either by co-opting rivals or by isolating them politically. One of Toregene's most significant moves during this period was her outreach to non-Mongol advisors and administrators. Recognizing the value of their expertise, she brought in experienced officials from the territories the Mongols had conquered, particularly from the Islamic and Chinese worlds. These individuals played a crucial role in maintaining the empire's administrative efficiency during the transition period. Toregene's willingness to embrace diverse perspectives was a testament to her pragmatism and vision as a leader. As regent, Toregene faced the daunting task of governing an empire that spanned continents. The Mongol Empire was not only vast but also incredibly diverse, encompassing a wide range of cultures, languages, and religions. Toregene approached this challenge with remarkable acumen. She maintained the policies of religious tolerance that had been a hallmark of Mongol rule, ensuring that the empire's various communities felt represented and protected. At the same time, she took steps to strengthen the central authority of the Khanate, laying the groundwork for her son's eventual rule. Toregene's regency was also marked by significant economic and cultural developments. She oversaw the continued expansion of trade routes, ensuring that goods and ideas flowed freely across the empire. The Silk Road, already a vital artery of commerce, became even more vibrant under her stewardship. Toregene understood that the prosperity of the empire depended on its ability to facilitate exchange and connectivity, and she worked tirelessly to support these endeavors. Despite her successes, Toregene's position was far from secure. The Mongol court remained a hotbed of intrigue, and her enemies were always looking for opportunities to undermine her authority. One of the most persistent challenges she faced was the question of succession. Although Toregene was determined to secure the throne for her son Guyuk, she had to contend with rival claimants from other branches of the family. These rivalries were not merely personal. They reflected deeper divisions within the empire, as different factions vied for power and influence. Toregene's response to these challenges was both bold and calculated. She delayed the convening of the Kurultai, using the time to strengthen her position and rally support for Guyuk's candidacy. This move was not without risk, as it left the empire without a formally recognized leader for several years. However, Toregene believed that the delay was necessary to ensure a smooth transition and to prevent the empire from descending into chaos. The years of Toregene's regency were a testament to her resilience and political skill. She faced constant scrutiny and criticism, both from within the Mongol court and from external observers. Some accused her of overstepping her bounds as a woman, while others questioned her loyalty to the ideals of Genghis Khan. Yet Toregene remained steadfast in her mission, driven by a deep sense of duty to her family and to the empire. By the time the Kurultai was finally convened in 1246, Toregene had succeeded in her goal of securing the throne for Guyuk. The assembly, held with great pomp and ceremony, was a triumph for Toregene and a vindication of her leadership. Guyuk's election as Great Khan marked the culmination of years of careful planning and tireless effort on her part. However, it also signaled the beginning of a new chapter in her life, one that would see her influence wane as her son took center stage. Toregene's rise to power following Ogedei's death was a remarkable achievement, one that demonstrated her extraordinary capabilities as a leader in a world where women were rarely afforded the opportunity to wield authority. She carved out a space for herself at the heart of the Mongol Empire. Her regency not only preserved the stability of the empire during a critical period, but also set a precedent for the role of women in Mongol politics. Toregene's story during these years is a testament to her intelligence, determination, and unwavering commitment to the vision of a united and prosperous Mongol Empire. The years following Ögedei Khan's death in 1241 marked one of the most precarious periods in the history of the Mongol Empire. With no officially elected Great Khan, the empire teetered on the brink of fragmentation. Amid this uncertainty, Töregene Khatun emerged as a central figure of authority, stepping into the void left by her husband's passing. Her regency, spanning roughly 5 years, was a masterclass in political navigation, as she sought to maintain stability while securing the throne for her son, Guyuk Khan. It was a period defined by ambition, strategy, and the extraordinary willpower of a woman determined to protect her family's legacy. From the outset, Toregene understood that the task before her was monumental. The Mongol Empire, stretching from the steppes of Central Asia to the fringes of Europe and the coasts of China, was an entity of immense complexity, governed by the principles laid down by Genghis Khan. The empire was both a military machine and a fragile coalition of tribes and factions. Toregene's regency began in a storm of conflicting interests, with rival factions vying for influence and key members of the Töregene clan questioning her authority. Rather than be intimidated by these challenges, Toregene set out to consolidate her position. Her first move was to establish herself as the de facto ruler of the empire. As Ogedei's primary wife and the mother of his heir, she claimed the right to govern until a new great Khan could be elected. Toregene's gender posed an additional layer of complexity, as Mongol society, while more flexible in its view of women compared to other cultures of the time, was still predominantly patriarchal. Toregene countered these biases with a combination of charisma, strategic alliances, and an unyielding resolve that left no doubt about her ability to lead. One of Toregene's most significant achievements during her regency was her success in securing the loyalty of the Mongol nobility. She recognized that her authority depended on the support of the empire's key power brokers, including generals, administrators, and tribal leaders. To this end, she engaged in a calculated campaign of patronage, offering positions of influence and material rewards to those who pledged their allegiance to her cause. At the same time, she kept a careful watch over potential rivals, neutralizing threats through a mixture of negotiation and, when necessary, decisive action. Toregene's political mastery was perhaps most evident in her relationship with the empire's various administrative and cultural groups. Unlike many of her contemporaries, Toregene was unafraid to draw on the expertise of individuals from outside the Mongol elite. She relied heavily on the skills of administrators and scholars from the Islamic and Chinese worlds, recognizing their value in managing the empire's vast and diverse territories. This pragmatic approach not only enhanced the efficiency of her administration but also reinforced her image as a ruler capable of uniting disparate elements under a single banner. As regent, Toregene also took steps to strengthen the central authority of the Mongol state. She oversaw the continuation of Ogedei's policies, including the expansion of trade routes and the development of infrastructure. Under her leadership, the postal relay system, or YAM, was further refined, ensuring the rapid movement of information and goods across the empire. Toregene's commitment to maintaining the momentum of Ogedei's reforms demonstrated her understanding of the importance of continuity in governance. Even in times of transition, however, Toregene's regency was not without controversy. Her detractors accused her of favoritism and corruption, claiming that she placed personal allies in key positions at the expense of more qualified candidates. Some critics also questioned her decision to delay the Kurultai, interpreting it as a ploy to prolong her own authority. While these accusations may have been driven in part by political rivalries, they highlight the challenges Toregene faced as a woman operating in a male-dominated arena. Despite these criticisms, Toregene remained undeterred, focused on her ultimate goal of securing the throne for her son. One of the most contentious aspects of Toregene's regency was her handling of the succession process. By delaying the Kurultai, Toregene gave herself time to build support for Guyuk's candidacy. This decision, though risky, proved to be a masterstroke. Over the course of several years, Toregene worked tirelessly to consolidate her son's position as the rightful heir to the throne. She engaged in a delicate dance of diplomacy, rallying allies while marginalizing opponents. Her efforts culminated in the convening of the Kurultai in 1246, a grand assembly that was as much a display of Toregene's political acumen as it was a formal election. The Kurultai of 1246 was a triumph for Toregene. Held near Karakoram, the Mongol capital, the assembly brought together representatives from across the empire. It was a moment of both celebration and tension, as factions jostled for influence and rival claimants vied for recognition. Toregene, however, had prepared meticulously for this occasion. Her network of allies, cultivated over years of careful negotiation, ensured that Guyuk's election was a foregone conclusion. When the vote was finally cast, Guyuk was declared the new Great Khan, cementing Toregene's legacy as one of the most effective regents in Mongol history. The success of the Kurultai marked the pinnacle of Toregene's regency, but it also signaled the end of her time in power. With Guyuk's ascension, Toregene stepped back from the forefront of Mongol politics, allowing her son to take the reins. Her influence, however, would continue to be felt for years to come. The alliances she had forged, the reforms she had implemented, and the stability she had maintained all contributed to the continued strength of the Mongol Empire. Toregene's regency stands as a remarkable chapter in the history of the Mongol Empire. At a time of great uncertainty, she demonstrated an extraordinary capacity for leadership, guiding the empire through one of its most challenging transitions. Her ability to navigate the complex web of Mongol politics, her commitment to the principles of governance, and her unwavering determination to secure her son's future all speak to her exceptional qualities as a ruler. Toregene's story is not just one of survival but of triumph, a testament to the enduring power of ambition, resilience, and vision. The Kurultai of 1246 was more than just a political gathering. It was a momentous event that would determine the future of the Mongol Empire. Töregene Khatun, having spent years consolidating power and securing alliances, orchestrated this grand assembly with precision and purpose. The stakes could not have been higher. The empire, the largest the world had ever seen, spanned continents and cultures, but it was a fragile colossus, held together by the vision and authority of its leader. With the throne vacant since Ögedei Khan's death, the Kurultai was the final step in Toregene's plan to place her son, Guyuk Khan, at the helm of this vast dominion. The process of organizing a Kurultai was an immense undertaking, especially one of this magnitude. Representatives from all corners of the empire were summoned, including members of the Borjigin family, tribal leaders, military generals, and envoys from conquered territories. These gatherings were not merely formalities. They were arenas for negotiation, alliances, and, at times, bitter rivalries. Toregene, aware of the delicate balance required to ensure success, approached the task with her characteristic determination and strategic insight. The choice of location was significant. The Kurultai was held near Karakoram, the Mongol capital, a city that symbolized the unity and power of the empire. Toregene ensured that the setting reflected the grandeur of the occasion. Delegates arrived to find a meticulously prepared venue, complete with opulent tents and accommodations fit for royalty. The atmosphere was both celebratory and tense, as those gathered understood the gravity of the decisions to be made. Toregene's meticulous planning extended to every aspect of the Kurultai. She had spent years building a coalition of supporters, placing allies in key positions, and marginalizing her opponents. Her ability to navigate the intricate web of Mongol politics was unmatched. She knew which rival factions to placate, which allies to reward, and which opponents to undermine. By the time the Kurultai convened, she had ensured that the majority of delegates were either loyal to her or neutralized as threats. Despite Toregene's careful preparations, the Kurultai was not without its challenges. The Borjigin clan, the ruling family of the Mongol Empire, was rife with internal divisions. Some members resented Toregene's dominance during the regency, viewing her as an interloper who had overstepped her bounds. Others questioned Guyuk's suitability as the next great Khan, citing his strained relationships with certain factions and his perceived arrogance. These doubts provided a rallying point for opposition, but Toregene had anticipated this resistance. Toregene's strategy relied not only on her political alliances but also on her ability to appeal to the broader Mongol values of loyalty, tradition, and continuity. She framed Guyuk's candidacy as a fulfillment of Ogedei's legacy, emphasizing his lineage and his potential to lead the empire to even greater heights. She reminded the delegates of the importance of unity in the face of external threats and internal challenges. Her speeches were a masterclass in persuasion, blending appeals to tradition with pragmatic arguments about the need for strong and stable leadership. The Kurultai was also a showcase of Toregene's diplomatic acumen. envoys from conquered territories, including representatives from the Islamic caliphates, the Christian kingdoms of Europe, and the Song dynasty in China, were present as observers. Toregene used this opportunity to demonstrate the Mongol Empire's strength and sophistication. She hosted lavish banquets, where the wealth and diversity of the empire were on full display. These events were not merely ceremonial. They were carefully orchestrated displays of power and unity, designed to impress both allies and adversaries. As the days of deliberation unfolded, Toregene's influence became increasingly apparent. Her supporters spoke passionately in favor of Guyuk, while her opponents found themselves outmaneuvered at every turn. Toregene's network of alliances, cultivated over years of careful planning, proved to be her greatest asset. Key figures within the Mongol aristocracy, who might have otherwise opposed Guyuk's candidacy, found themselves swayed by promises of rewards or constrained by the sheer weight of Toregene's coalition. The climax of the Kurultai came with the formal vote to elect the new Great Khan. The process was steeped in tradition, with each delegate casting their vote in a ceremonial manner. Toregene, standing as a silent yet commanding presence, watched as the tide turned decisively in Guyuk's favor. When the final vote was cast, Guyuk was declared the new Great Khan of the Mongol Empire, a moment that marked the culmination of Toregene's efforts. The declaration of Guyuk as Great Khan was followed by a series of elaborate celebrations. Feasts, performances, and rituals filled the days and nights, showcasing the splendor and diversity of the Mongol Empire. Toregene, though no longer regent, was the undisputed architect of this victory. Her role in securing Guyuk's election was widely acknowledged, earning her both admiration and resentment within the court. However, the conclusion of the Kurultai did not mean the end of Toregene's influence. While Guyuk assumed the mantle of leadership, Toregene remained a significant figure in the court. Her years as regent had not only demonstrated her capabilities, but also solidified her legacy as one of the most powerful and effective leaders in Mongol history. She continued to wield considerable influence behind the scenes, advising her son and shaping the policies of the empire. The Kurultai of 1246 stands as a testament to Toregene's extraordinary political mastery. In a world dominated by men, she not only held her own but reshaped the very fabric of power in the Mongol Empire. Her ability to navigate the treacherous waters of Mongol politics, her unwavering commitment to her family's legacy, and her vision for the future of the empire ensured her place in history. Toregene's triumph at the Kurultai was not just a personal victory. It was a defining moment in the story of the Mongol Empire, a moment that underscored the enduring power of ambition, resilience, and leadership. With Guyuk Khan formally declared the Great Khan of the Mongol Empire at the Kurultai of 1246, a new era began for Töregene Khatun. This moment represented the culmination of years of tireless effort and masterful political maneuvering. Her son had ascended to the throne, securing her family's place at the pinnacle of power. Yet, as Guyuk took the reins of the empire, the dynamics of authority shifted, and Toregene found herself navigating a complex new reality. The regency that had defined her rise to prominence was over, and the challenges of maintaining influence in a court increasingly dominated by her son and his allies would come to test her resilience in unforeseen ways. From the outset of his reign, Guyuk faced significant challenges. The Mongol Empire, though vast and powerful, was a patchwork of cultures, tribes, and territories that required careful management. Guyuk inherited not only the immense resources of the empire, but also the political tensions that had simmered during Toregene's regency. While her ability to maintain stability and secure Guyuk's election was remarkable, it had also left lingering resentment among rival factions. Many within the Borjigin clan and the broader aristocracy viewed Guyuk's rule as an extension of Toregene's dominance, a perception that Guyuk himself was eager to dispel. Guyuk's initial actions as Great Khan reflected his determination to assert his independence from his mother's influence. while Toregene had skillfully placed her allies in key positions during her regency. Guyuk began to restructure the court, appointing officials and advisors who aligned more closely with his vision. This reshuffling of power was not merely a political necessity. It was also a symbolic act, signaling the end of Toregene's direct control over the empire's affairs. For Toregene, this shift was both inevitable and painful. She had devoted years to building the foundation of Guyuk's rule, only to find herself sidelined as he established his authority. The tension between mother and son was further exacerbated by differences in their governing styles and priorities. Toregene, as regent, had emphasized pragmatism and inclusivity, drawing on the expertise of a diverse array of advisors from across the empire. Guyuk, by contrast, was more rigid and autocratic in his approach. He sought to centralize power and enforce stricter discipline within the court, often clashing with the very figures who had supported his mother during her regency. This divergence in leadership philosophies created friction within the Mongol elite, as old alliances unraveled and new rivalries emerged. One of the most significant sources of tension during Guyuk's reign was his relationship with Ögedei Khan, the ruler of the Golden Horde and one of the most powerful members of the Toregene family. Batu had played a key role in the Mongol conquests of Eastern Europe and commanded immense respect and loyalty among the Western factions of the empire. However, his relationship with Guyuk was fraught with animosity, fueled in part by disputes over the succession and Toregene's perceived favoritism toward her son. This rivalry culminated in a power struggle that threatened to destabilize the entire empire. Toregene, acutely aware of the danger posed by this conflict, sought to mediate between Guyuk and Batu. Her efforts, however, were met with limited success. Guyuk's determination to assert his authority and Batu's insistence on his autonomy left little room for compromise. The feud between the two leaders underscored the broader challenges facing the Mongol Empire, maintaining unity in the face of regionalism and personal ambition. For Toregene, the conflict was a bitter reminder of the limits of her influence in this new political landscape. Despite these challenges, Toregene remained a significant figure within the court, albeit in a diminished capacity. Her years of experience and deep understanding of Mongol politics continued to make her a valuable advisor. Even as her role became more peripheral, she worked to protect the interests of her family and maintain the alliances she had built during her regency. Yet, her position was increasingly precarious, as Guyuk's consolidation of power left little room for her to wield the authority she had once commanded. Guyuk's reign was marked by both achievements and setbacks. Under his leadership, the Mongol Empire continued to expand its influence, with campaigns in the Middle East and diplomatic engagements with Europe. However, his autocratic tendencies and his focus on consolidating power often alienated key factions within the empire. His strained relationships with other members of the Toregene clan, including Batu, created a volatile political environment that threatened to undermine the unity Toregene had worked so hard to preserve. For Toregene, the waning years of her life were marked by a sense of both accomplishment and loss. She had achieved what few women in history had, wielding immense power in a male-dominated society and shaping the course of one of the greatest empires the world had ever known. Yet, the very success of her regency and the elevation of her son to the throne came at a cost. The transition of power, with its attendant rivalries and realignments, left her increasingly isolated, her influence eclipsed by the very legacy she had helped create. Toregene's story during Guyuk's reign is a poignant reminder of the complexities of power and leadership. Her journey from regent to sidelined matriarch reflects the shifting dynamics of the Mongol court and the broader challenges of governing an empire of unprecedented scale and diversity. While her role may have diminished in the later years of her life, her impact on the Mongol Empire remained profound. Toregene had not only guided the empire through a critical period of transition, but also left an indelible mark on its history, one that would resonate long after her time. As the tensions within the Mongol Empire continued to simmer, Guyuk's reign was cut short by his untimely death in 1248. This unexpected turn of events once again plunged the empire into uncertainty, setting the stage for new power struggles and alliances. For Toregene, the loss of her son marked the end of an era, a bittersweet culmination of a life defined by ambition, resilience, and an unwavering commitment to her family's legacy. Her story, however, would endure, a testament to the enduring power of leadership in the face of adversity.